This is an upper body strength day designed to target the arms and shoulders in your luteal phase. This is that first week after ovulation in the second half of the cycle where we're shifting our training mode. So we've completed the transition from low to high hormone territory, and now we see both estrogen and progesterone on the rise. And with this hormone cocktail in the second half of the cycle, we see things like a shift in our performance indicators. We have shorter time to exhaustion because our bodies aren't cooling quite as efficiently. We see a slight bump in our body temperature, which means we have to get hotter before we start to sweat, which can contribute to fatigue during exercise. We have longer recovery times, and we're switching our metabolic pathway. So rather than the efficient carbohydrate utilization that we saw in the first half of the cycle, now the body has this preference of fatty acids for fuel. We also see a trend towards catabolic metabolism, where your body is inherently in the mode of breaking down tissues to supply these building blocks to your endometrium. So all these reproductive priorities lead to changes in performance. And so we're shifting our training mode today to endurance. What that means is we're using a lighter weight selection with a higher rep volume that will keep us at a lower intensity threshold. So somewhere between 50 to 70, 80% of your maximum heart rate. So it's low to moderate intensities. And we're looking for that many reps in reserve at the end of each interval. So you're not hitting your max. We're not flirting with the edges of our ability like we were in the first half of the cycle. This phase is all about preservation. So we're wanting to preserve our hard-earned muscle from the first half of the cycle. So rather than kind of going all out or maximizing our strength, we're focusing on that endurance training mode. In today's practice, we have 3 different sets of work, and we are moving through a high volume of reps. So we have pyramid intervals where we're working 40 seconds in the first round, then a full 60 seconds in the second round, coming back to 40 seconds in our third round. So 3 rounds of work in each of these different sets of exercises. And you can find the breakdown of each exercise in the movement tutorial that's linked below. So especially if this is your first time in this movement session, I encourage you to tune into that movement tutorial for ways to scale, ways to modify, and just to get all of the mechanics and the form cues into your body before you move through the guided video or before you take this workout on your own, maybe at a gym or just moving at your own pace. So make sure you are choosing your weight selection for this workout accordingly. So for endurance, you want something that's going to be challenging, but that's not going to max you out. So you can sustain that quality effort from the start to the finish of each interval. You're not hitting your failure point by the end. For me, I'm going to have a set of 8-pound dumbbells with a lighter set in reserve because some of this work uses very isolated body position. So we're really getting into the smaller muscle groups in the upper body. So it shouldn't take a lot of weight to really feel these movement patterns working. And for now, let's get into our warm-up. This is a quick dynamic upper body warm-up to get you ready for strength training. We'll have 10 different movements that we will enjoy for 30 seconds each, starting with the inchworm. We've got just about 10 seconds to set up here, so you can start at the back of your mat, shake it out, give a little wiggle, and we'll begin now. So we'll walk the hands down, walk all the way out to plank, find your strongest plank, and then inch all the way back up to standing. Start to connect to the rhythm of your breath, in and out through the nose where possible, and then maybe exhaling through the mouth to release heat, to create that nice core integration. So just warming the arms, the shoulders, the core to get you ready to move that weight. We're coming into now downward dog next. So find your downward dog position. And here we're shifting from that plank position and then tapping opposite ankle or opposite leg. So wherever your hand reaches, tap it back and across. So working through these dynamic exercises to warm the joints, to prepare the muscles, and just wake up the body so that you're ready to move when it's time to pick up the weights. We'll be here just a few more seconds, and then we're coming into our cat and cow. So we'll let the knees come down, stretch the spine, shine the sitting bones back. Inhale. From the tailbone round under, exhale, curl the body in, chin to chest, press through your hands. Inhale, articulate bone by bone, feel the spine lengthen. And then as you exhale, round in, create space between your body and the mat. Inhale, re-extend, stretch the heart forward, sitting bones back. Last one, exhale, round, curl it in, nice work. Coming up to a kneeling position next, side bending. So we take the left arm down to the side or to your hip, reach your right arm up and over. Lift up and out of the hip creases so you're lengthening both sides of the waist evenly. You can even press your head into your top arm to open that top shoulder. Come up through center, exchange. So right hand down, left arm up and over. So here again, you can press the head into the hand if you wish. And then we're coming out into a half kneeling position. Take the left foot forward, reach your arms out in front, and we're going to circle that left arm back into a twist and forward. So we're keeping the hips and legs nice and square, and we're rotating in the upper body. Let your shoulders stay directly over the hips, so not leaning forward or back with the torso, just finding that nice rotation in the shoulder with a twist in the torso. We're here for just a few more seconds. Nice. And then we're coming back to our kneeling position. Offer the palms forward in these sort of robot arms, but with the palms turning up. Turn the arms out, reach them up and around and back down to center. So we rotate. We're working on that full range of motion in those beautiful shoulders. Such an awesome joint that supports movement through all planes, all directions. Reach it up and back down. Last big breath here, and then we'll switch to the other side for our kneeling position. Right knee forward, left knee back, arms out in front. We'll circle that right arm now, open to the twist and back to center. We open it up, twist and back. So find full range of motion, really working through any sticky points that you feel, trying not to shrug the shoulders, but keep them nice and relaxed away from the ears so that you're using mobility to get that arm up and over. Connecting to your breath once again. And let's come back to our kneeling position. Bring your hands behind you onto the sacrum, either hands down or hands up. We're going to lift up into just a very gentle back bend, focusing on the upper back. So I want you to keep your thighs pressing forward, lift up and out of the hips, stretch the heart skyward. So you're not leaning back so much as up, just opening the front body, feeling this nice big stretch. From here, we'll come to a standing position. Arm circles here, nice and big. Take those arms all the way around. Circle, maybe shrug a little bit to get through any last little bit of kind of sleepiness in the arms. You can reverse the direction here. And then we're closing out our practice to get the heart rate up a little bit to generate some heat with 30 seconds of jumping jacks. So we'll go there in about 5 seconds. Last big arm circle here. And jumping jacks. Let's get it here. So high impact is here. You can also be stepping side to side, but I want you to focus on moving nice and quick. We're aiming to get the blood pumping, improve circulation so that you are warmed up and ready when your workout begins. We're here for just about 10 more seconds. See if you can pick up the pace a little bit. Connecting with your breath in and out through the nose. Last 2 and 1. That should be a little bit of a heart rate hit for you. That is your warm up, and now you are ready to move. Now that your upper body is warmed up, we will get right into this workout. Make sure you have your weights handy. I'm using a light set and then a very light set. So we are in the luteal phase where we're not looking to kind of hit our max intensities. So this is the time where I encourage you to listen to your body. If you feel like you're hitting that failure point where you can't quite get one more quality rep, drop down in weight or move to body weight only. Now is the time for making these informed choices, these cycle-informed choices to preserve your hard-earned muscle so that you're not shifting into breakdown mode. I'll get our timer started here, and then we'll start with our first superset. So we have a bicep and a tricep exercise back to back. We're working pyramid intervals here. So our first working interval is 40 seconds, then we build to 60 and then come back down to 40. So it's 3 rounds total of these 2 exercises. We're starting with that static curl. Rotate the shoulders back, lift the hip points toward the low ribs. We'll go now. So we squeeze the biceps, come down halfway, offer those weights forward, come back to center, and then come all the way down. Come halfway up, stretch the arms forward, back to center, and then up. So we're breaking that curl in half. We're taking the 2 phases of movement, separating them with that forward raise. So it's working the chest, the biceps, that strong, focused effort here. So we come halfway up, reach, and then we go halfway down and come back. Take it forward. Last 3, 2, and 1. Our next exercise is the bent row with tricep extension. So you'll have both weights and we'll alternate sides here. So we're really focusing on the stabilizing effort when we load asymmetrically, and then we are working one side and then the other. So we'll begin in about 10 seconds. We have slightly longer recovery periods here, 30 seconds to our 40-second interval. So they're more closely matched. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. Take one elbow back, extend that arm to center and release. Other arm back, squeeze the tricep to center and release. Make sure you're not straining or arching the lower back. It's that natural curve where we have the low belly integrated to support this bent position. We're extending all the way. Make sure you don't rush through that tricep extension, but pause at the end to really feel the squeeze in the backs of the arms. The luteal phase is this opportunity to move more slowly, to lengthen your time under tension so that we're not building intensity through pace or power, but we're staying in that low to moderate intensity, that endurance zone, and rest. We're coming to our second round now. This will be a full minute of work, coming to our bicep curl with that front raise or that front reach. So we've got about 12 more seconds. You can circle out the shoulders. This is isolation work, so you're not hitting your high intensity through the conditioning effort. You should be able to maintain that nice, smooth, and steady breath. And let's begin. Squeeze it up, halfway down, reach, and back to center. All the way down, halfway up, reach, and pull it back. Now all the way up. So just break that curl in half with that lift in between. If this starts to get too much, that stretching of the lever arm out away from the body feels too intense, you can always alternate arms or move it into more of a cross body fly. That looks like this. So you're squeezing up, come halfway down, reaching across instead. That just shortens a bit of the lever arm, and you can go one side at a time to take some of that strain out of the shoulders. Otherwise, we're here for about 15 more seconds. Breathing out as you come halfway up, reach, and all the way up. Halfway down, and all the way down. And rest. You can set your weights down if you wish. In between sets, give a little bit of a grip break. And roll out the shoulders, maybe circle the neck. Just free any tension that might be starting to creep up in the shoulders and the neck. That can happen with upper body work. Sometimes we tend to get into this shoulder shrugged position. So really focus on creating that nice long cervical spine. We'll grab the weights coming into our bent row to tricep extension, alternating sides. Let's get it now. We pull that weight straight back to the hip, extend the arm, reach, and return. Make sure your shoulders and hips are staying square the entire time. That's the stabilizing effort. That will be your bonus core work with this asymmetrical loading pattern. We reach it back, pull, extend, back to center, and down. Elbow to hip, reach, back to center, and extend. So these longer intervals, we're accumulating higher rep volume, which should feel pretty manageable at this lower weight range. So you're not hitting your failure point, you're not hitting that point of fatigue, but you're staying strong. Like you have lots of reps in reserve at the end of even a longer 1 minute interval. We're here for just about 12 more seconds. Reach and pull. Extend the arms back to center. Last 3, 2, and 1. You can set your weights slowly down if you wish. That is 2 rounds underway. Now we just have 1 round left of those 2 exercises before we move into some isolation work in the shoulders. So you have about 15 more seconds of rest here left. Shake out the shoulders. Take some nice deep breaths. You should be able to come back to your baseline completely in between each set. So we're going to our bicep curl in 3, 2, and 1. So we stretch it up, come back down, reach, and together. So another benefit of switching gears, of lowering the intensity during the luteal phase, is you do have longer recovery periods. So it takes your body a longer amount of time from high intensity to come back down. So when we're not maxing out our intensity, we can take advantage of kind of less recovery needed. It is more than we might need in the follicular phase, but we can get away with a little bit shorter recovery because we're not pushing that high intensity zone. And rest. Set the weights down. 30 seconds should be more than enough at this intensity to come back down to your baseline where your heart rate is kind of in a more neutral place. We've got just about 15 seconds and we will finish this last round bent row to tricep extension. So we're alternating sides. Remember, lift hip points to low ribs, stretch up through the heart, and then crown to tail, move as a unit as you come into that hinged position, that bent position. Let's take it back. Straighten the arm, come to center and release. Pull the elbow straight back to your hip, reach, come back and return. Make sure your shoulder is not popping open, but it stays nice and square. That's going to help isolate the back, which is what we're looking for in that row. And then by hugging the elbow into the side, you can isolate the tricep as you extend. Pull it back, reach, back to center and down. Hug that elbow in, extend, and return. Last rep here, take it back to center and release. We have 30 seconds to stretch it out before we enter our second superset. So in this one, we're working a front raise to a lateral raise and reversing that direction. And then we are enjoying an upright row to an alternating press. So it's 2 very strong movements in the shoulders. Make sure that you are switching weights if you need to at all through this next set of work. Let's begin now. We'll take that weight forward to the side, down, and then reverse. Brace the belly. Try to keep the shoulders nice and relaxed away from the ears so that you're working just the shoulders. We're not creating any tension in the neck to make this movement happen. Reaching forward, shoulder height, around, and down. So this work and this isolation work doesn't take much to feel it in the shoulders. So I want you to really be curious and be aware of how your body is feeling. Are you hitting your max? Are you hitting moderate or high intensities? Rest. So just keep that line of communication open and don't be afraid to shift, to dial it down. Now is not the time to push through, to ignore those signals. Now is when the true work of cyclical fitness comes into play. It's that dialing back effort that helps preserve what we've worked so hard for throughout the cycle. So we're coming next into our upright row with alternating press. Let's begin now. We take the weight up, press one side, come back and down. It's that upright row. Keep the shoulders broadening apart. Reach one arm out and back down. Lift it up. So this one, lots of stabilization happening in the shoulder. Lots of strength in the chest as you come out and back to center. So we're using gravity to work for us here. You're having to resist that weight, wanting to dip down as you take it out away from the body and back in and down. Row it up, reach, come back and down, rest. Set those weights down. Front raise to lateral raise comes next. This is your full minute interval, so it's that longer stretch where we're getting into higher reps. So again, endurance work, you're wanting to stay at low to moderate intensities. Don't be afraid to switch the weights. I've got my eye on my lighter set here when these start to get too intense. So we'll get ready to move in 3, 2, and 1. Take the weights up, out to the side, brace the belly. This is, again, that bonus core work that I love to bring into upper body days. So you have that strong belly working to keep the torso static and stable. Come down, reach it up. With this one especially, be mindful not to swing the weights. You can always go to single-sided if you need to. And that's going to be my mode for at least a few reps, maybe the rest of this interval. Coming back and down, reach it up to center and come back. So we're not swinging the weight, we're not using momentum, but it's just that solid, strong effort. And down. Last few reps here, forward, to the side, and down. Last one. You got this. Reach it up to the center and back down. Rest. You can set those weights down. Coming to the second round of our upright row to a press. In this one, if you need to, you can always switch to single arm upright rows as well. You can take out the double arm rep. If you start to feel any fatigue in the shoulders, or you're starting to see kind of a little bit of form loss throughout these intervals. So this is our 60-second one coming now. Let's lift it up. Press, bring it back in and down. It's that row. Press, reach, and back down. So keep the shoulders broadening apart like you're trying to lengthen the tips of your collarbones in opposite directions, but without losing the core integration. So you still have hip points and low ribs knitting toward each other. You're trying to magnetically close that gap, even as you lift the spine and extend nice and tall. Reach back to center and down. I'm going to take single-sided rows here now because I'm starting to hit that point where I want to dial back the intensity even further. Back and in. We've got just about 10 more seconds here. Reach back in and down. Let's get the last rep to even it out here. Center and down. Release. That is the end of round 2. We're coming into our third round of lateral raise to front raise next. So again, keep your options open. You can move to single-sided work, or you can drop down in weights and really focus on your form, focus on mind-muscle connection. These luteal phase practices are a great opportunity for skill work, for really kind of perfecting and mastering the mechanics. We'll go in 2, 1. Lift that weight forward, to the side, and down. Then reverse it. Take it out, together, and down. We reach it up, out and around, and back down. Make sure your shoulders are staying nice and relaxed. They're not shrugging up or creeping up on you here. Using your breath. So I'm going to switch to single-sided now, and down. Reach out to the center and down. Then we reverse it. Last 10 seconds. Reach it up to the center and down. That's the end of that exercise. We have just one more exercise in this set, and then we'll come into our final working set of this session. We've got about 20 seconds, so you can stretch it out, really work the full range in the shoulders. And then we're coming into upright row with that press. As you come into the press, make sure you're staying in that at that shoulder height the whole way out and the whole way back. We'll go in 2, 1. It's an upright row and a press. Keep that stability the entire time. Reach it up, press it out, come back and down. Make sure your elbows are nice and wide. We're working chest, shoulders, biceps here. It's all happening. And back. Reach it up. Press back to center and down. I'm going to switch to single rows here. Reach. I feel that weight dipping down as I take it out. So dropping to single-sided is one way to scale it within the interval. So you're not having to switch, rest. You're not having to switch out your reps. Next, we're coming into our half kneeling position. So you'll have your right knee forward, left knee behind. That means the weight is in your left arm, so opposite the front knee. We start with the weight out in front. It's an Arnold press. Take it around the world, back up, and return to center. So it's a single weight here. Bring that weight into position, and let's begin. Arnold press, take it overhead. Brace with the legs as you come down, all the way up and return to center. So imagine your inner thighs hugging to the midline to resist that asymmetrical load. This is the bonus core work, and come back to center. If you need to, if it's too much with the arms straight, you can make this more of a lat pull down, bringing the elbow bent to the side and taking that circle wide and around. Come back through your Arnold press. Reach it up. I know your shoulders are starting to talk to you. Stay with it. Stay strong all the way till the end. Last 2 and 1. Tate presses next. So this one, we're coming into a kneeling position. We come with the weights upside down. So it's like you're tipping out a bottle or a jar, and you want to keep your shoulders down away from your ears. So not shrugging to get into this position. Nice and neutral. Wrists are neutral, so they're straight with the lower arm. And then we're squeezing up and coming back down. Make sure those low ribs don't try to flare out. You're not overarching the lower back. So here, let's begin now. Take those weights up and back down. This is isolation work. So it's not your most intense workout, but it is strategic and focused strength work. There is a place for this type of work in your cycle, in your strength practice. It doesn't have to be all out every time to be effective. So this work is helping us preserve the muscle mass in the upper body, in the shoulders, in the arms, those strong, beautiful arms that help you hold your body in space, that postural strength in the upper back. Last 3, 2, and 1. Set that weight down. We're coming to the second side now of our half kneeling Arnold press to the around the world. So you'll take your left foot forward, right knee back. We'll take that opposite arm. The weight starts at the chest height. Palm is facing you. We rotate it out and around to take it up. We've got just a few more seconds of recovery here. You should be all the way back down to your baseline. And let's begin. Take it out and around, all the way around the world. This can be nice and slow, resisting that flow of the weight. So you're working against gravity here on the way down, and then on the way up. So you're not giving that weight to momentum, not letting it drop, but you stay in control the entire way down and the entire way up. Keep squeezing the inner thighs together, bracing the obliques here for that added bonus core work. So the shoulders are staying square over the hips. We're not leaning away with the body as that weight comes out. And rest. We're switching sides now. So we come to the top of the interval, right back into our half kneeling on the other side. So you can take a little bit of rest here, roll out the shoulders, maybe stretch the chest, take some nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. The breath is such a powerful asset. Come into position. Throughout, right leg is forward. So you're opposite your front knee. Let's begin. So your breath, a total asset through this practice, especially the endurance phase, so the endurance training mode, where we're getting the maximum exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide with deeper breath. So the more that you can recruit the diaphragm, get into the deeper chambers of the lungs, the more oxygen you're delivering with every inhale, and the more carbon dioxide you're taking out with every exhale. So use your breath here as one of the levers that you can pull, part of your strength practice. It is an asset throughout. We've got about 20 more seconds left. This is where we go beyond the first interval and come back. So we're hitting the 60-second mark here. Last 5 seconds. Around the world and rest. Coming back through center for that Tate press. You can take a little bit of weight off the knees if you need to, coming out of that kneeling position just for a moment. Maybe shake out the shoulders. And then we've got about 15 more seconds and we'll come into our Tate press. So maybe a little bit of a side bend to really lengthen and give you space. We'll pick up the weights. And remember, this one, you want to keep those wrists nice and neutral so you don't get any soreness or tension there. Let's take it up. Squeeze the backs of the arms and back down, nice and slow. Remember, you're bracing the belly, so you should feel that magnetizing force between hip points and low ribs to keep the lower body stable. Reaching it up, squeeze the triceps and come back down. This one basically works arms, shoulders, and upper back in one movement. It's that strategic position that allows us to access and isolate these smaller muscle groups. This is our longest interval, which means we have about 20 more seconds left. You can always alternate sides here. And that's what is being called for me in this moment. Definitely feeling the backs of the arms starting to work, starting to get a little bit heated. We've got just 5 more seconds here. Down, last quality rep, and rest. Set one weight down, take the other weight with you. We're coming into Arnold press with around the world. So it's that half kneeling position. You can always take a little bit of a posture break if your knees or shins are getting sore. Use this longer recovery period to just work out any areas, any stickiness or tension, and a few very deep breaths. We'll take the left foot forward now. Right arm is working and begin. Take it out and around, all the way down, nice and slow. So this single-sided effort, this asymmetrical loading, not only is it bonus core work for that stabilization effort, but it helps correct postural imbalances. So differences you have in the way you hold your body side to side, which can lead to back pain or just habitual movement that kind of moves us out of balance. These single-sided exercises can help correct that. So develops better posture, the way you hold your body in space. And I can feel that in my dominant arm now working. I'm not hitting that struggle point quite as quickly. So I have a lot more endurance on my dominant side. So that just tells me it's a data point that says I need to work single-sided more often. This is our full minute interval here, coming down the home stretch and rest. We'll come out to the other side now. This is a great way when we have these two exercises back to back. You can feel the difference, dominant to non-dominant side. And what happens is when we move the arms together repeatedly, or we're not giving the arms a chance to work independently, the strong arm will always make up for any strength gaps or mobility gaps in the non-dominant side. Let's begin. So here we're letting the arms work independently. They're growing independently strong and finding that full range in each side. So it's an Arnold press, nice slow lower, and taking it all the way back up. Come back down, rotate, and take it overhead. Keep the lower body stable here so you feel that knitting force, low ribs to hip points. You can even get some of that tactile feedback by taking the fingers to your obliques. Just feel those obliques hard at work. Sometimes rest. That can give you just that added bit of encouragement when you can feel your body at work. You're getting that connection from the inner to outer world. So we're coming into our next round of the Tate press. This is our 40-second interval, so these will move much more quickly. We're coming in the home stretch of this workout. We'll get into position, find that strong kneeling position, and we'll begin in 2, 1. Reach the arms out, squeeze the triceps, and back down to center. Nice neutral wrists. Low belly is integrated, not flaring the low ribs. Reach it out and to center. So I'll demonstrate here just so that you can see the torso's not moving forward or back. It's staying stable. It helps to move slowly through these patterns so that you avoid swinging the weights or compromising that position in the spine. So the slower you move, the more time you have under tension. We're working muscular endurance here. And rest. Last exercise for this portion of the workout before we come into our optional weighted core work. So that last little bit is just 5 minutes of core work to close us out strong, but it's totally optional. So this can be the end of your workout if it feels complete. So this is a solid effort, that nice low to moderate intensity, exactly what we're looking for in the luteal phase. Come into your Arnold press to around the world next. Let's bring it up all the way, slowly lower down. Keep that shoulder nice and relaxed. You can even take your opposite hand to that shoulder to encourage it down away from the ear. So we're trying not to let it creep up, especially as that weight gets heavy. Reach it up and rotate it back down. You can also take a hand, your left hand to your opposite obliques. Feel that power, that strength, that stabilizing effort that allows you to move with this asymmetrical load. You can even take that opposite arm out to the side as something of a counterweight, back to center, and release. We are done with that portion of our workout. We've got just a few more seconds left in this recovery period to shake it out, stretch it out, and really check in with yourself, how your body's feeling. This might be that nice place to complete your session for today. And if that's the case, you can always use the timestamps in the description of this video below to skip right ahead to your cool down. Otherwise, we will head into our weighted core finisher now. You have chosen to stick with me for this quick 5-minute weighted core finisher. You'll need just a single light dumbbell here, nothing too heavy. We are targeting and isolating smaller muscle groups while recruiting the core. So you'll want something that's not very heavy at all. We are working each exercise for 50 seconds with just a quick 10 seconds to transition from one exercise into the next. Our first movement pattern, we're coming down into forearm side plank. We've got about 10 seconds to set up. So you'll come down, elbow directly under the shoulder into forearm side plank, or you can even bring the knees down, and we're rowing it up. So we pull that weight up to the shoulder, press it up, and then here's the strong work. We slowly lower down. Make that circle, pull it up, press, and slowly lower that weight down. Resist gravity, resist that pull of the dumbbell down. You want to keep pressing down through that forearm to lift the hips high. So we've got that strong arc in the spine, this really powerful shape that we have present in our own spine, that side bending mobility and strength. Pull it up, press it overhead, just 15 more seconds. Slowly lower down all the way. Reach and pull. Take it overhead and lower. After this, we're switching sides, so you're just changing to the opposite side. Last 2 and 1. Nice quick transitions. Coming to the other side next. Same thing on this side, elbow directly under the shoulder. And let's begin. So we'll take that weight, pull it to the shoulder, press it up, and slowly resist all the way back down. You should feel your obliques, your transverse abdominis really working to stabilize. Keep pressing down through that bottom forearm, lifting up through the hips. So all points of contact really anchoring down. So the outer edges of your feet, the entire lower arm on the bottom side. Reach it up. Take it overhead and slowly lower, resist. Make sure that you're not moving the body forward or back, but it's staying in that same plane the whole time as you resist that load at a distance. Pull it up, reach, and slowly lower down. Last rep here. Pull it up and press and come down. Now we're lowering onto the back, so nice and slow. Bring knees and weight up. We're simply tapping the heels, coming into a skull crusher. So heels tap, bring that weight towards your forehead and back up. Make sure that the lower back stays pressing into the mat so that you're not coning the belly, you're not puffing in the low ribs or the abs, but really engaging the transverse abdominis. So that's the deeper layers of your abdominal wall that wrap all the way around to support this movement. So elbows are parallel, bending straight back and straight up. And it's just that gentle heel tap. The key here to really feel it working in the core without strain in the lower back is to draw that lower back into the mat so that you are nice and neutral, not really moving the spine at all, and rest. Next set of work, side plank once again. This time we're just going to take a weight to the hip and we're going to lift the hips up and down. So we come up and dip down, lift it up and down. If you need to, you can bring the knees down, come into more of a half plank dip and lift up. So this is isolation work for the core. So there's no need really to strain if straight legs is creating any strain in your shoulder or in the spine. Don't be afraid to just bring the knees down and focus on the core work. It's there, it's available for you, even in this modified position. So just identify your priorities, what you're looking to get from this exercise, and then position your body to support that. We're here for 5 more seconds. Almost at the end here, 2 and 1, switching sides. This is our last exercise in this core finisher. You should be feeling a little bit of heat in the belly here. Come into the second side next. Hip dips, here we go. Lift it up and dip it down. Make sure that shoulder is directly over the bottom elbow, so there's no strain. We've got that strong loading angle in the bottom arm. Take it down and press it up. Reach down and lift. So pressing into the points of contact with the earth to create that nice strong arch in the spine. Lift it up and lower. We got this. Just a few more reps here at the end of this finisher. Lift it up. Doesn't take much weight in this body position to feel that added work. Last 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come up. You can set your weight off to the side. That is your weighted core finisher. Hopefully your breath isn't too elevated. You should be ready to transition right into cool down mode. So we will head into our cool down now. You have just completed your upper body strength work, and now it is time to cool down. We're going to start in Sphinx pose, so coming onto the belly, elbows are under the shoulders, we press the forearms down. Make fists here, gentle fists, and drag the forearms back while you anchor the hip points to stretch the spine. Very gentle back bend here, but just a really excellent way to open the front body. Especially in upper body work, we find the core stabilization effort gives us that bonus work. So this nice stretch in the front side of the body can feel really good, really supportive. We'll be here for just a few more seconds. And then start to turn your left forearm in. Reach for the inside of your right foot. Here we're focusing on stretching the chest. So I want you to kick that foot into the hand so that you feel the right side of the chest open. So it's less about the legs, less about the quadricep or the back bend, but we're really focusing on just stretching that right shoulder. So we're using the legs to get that deeper sensation, that deeper pull across the front of the chest. And then slowly transition, exchange. So right forearm comes down, reach for the inside of your left foot, square the shoulders, and then press the foot into your hand to stretch across the left side of the chest here. Big breath. And slow it out. So we're just bringing the heart rate down, kind of slowing things down here. We've got a few more seconds, and then we're moving into our scorpion twist. So this next movement for the lower back, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to take the arms out to the sides, bring your chin right in front, and we'll take the left knee, bend it, and twist it over to the right. So I'm going to adjust my body position here. This is really about creating space in the lower back, so you're keeping the chest grounded and just letting that lower back twist. You can have the arms either to T or to a cactus shape. Chin nice and centered on the ground. And then we'll switch sides. So coming through center, chin to the earth, bend your right knee and take it behind. So you're letting the lower body twist relative to the upper body. That means your shoulders are staying firmly planted on the mat, nice and square. I definitely feel a little bit more tightness on this side. Not quite as much range of motion available there. So just taking that information and working with it. Slowly come up. We'll press up into tabletop. Let the hips stay nice and high. Walk your hands out into puppy pose. Release the crown of the head to the mat. You can stretch the chest here. Maybe even bring heart, belly, chest, and chin to the earth. Feel that nice deep stretch in the spine. If you wish, you can ground the elbows. Bring the elbows or the hands to the shoulder blades to stretch the backs of the arms. Feel that traction on the triceps. Last big breath here. And then we'll slowly come up, transitioning to a seat. Here we're just working a nice deep neck stretch. So taking left ear to left shoulder, press your right hand away. And then we'll drop the head through center, switching sides. So bringing right ear to right shoulder, press the heel of the left hand away. Nice big breaths here. And then here we'll cross at the arms for eagle arms. So wrapping at the upper arms, around the elbows, forearms, wrists, and palms. You can even thread those elbows up and down to massage the upper back. Feel that nice stretch across the upper back. So you're pressing the hands into each other and then creating a little bit of stretch in the inner armpits, pulling apart. And then we'll switch sides, cross the other arm under. Eagle arms on the second side. Last one here. And we'll take the hands behind. I like to turn the fingers out to the sides, coming into upward table. So squeeze the heels of the hands together, and then we lift up. This is one of my favorite stretches for the front body, for the chest. Really root down through the heels of the hands. We're not puffing the low belly, just kind of pressing through the heels to lift the glutes up and create that stretch in the upper chest. We're here just a few more seconds, maybe a sway side to side to change the sensation, and then slowly lower the hips down. From here, give your legs a hug. So wrap the forearms under the thighs, around the upper back. Bring your forehead toward your knees, your chin toward your chest. Getting flexion in the spine now. Press the legs into the arms into the legs for a bit of traction. And then we will slowly come out in just a few more seconds here. Start to transition in your own way, back up to standing, maybe to a forward bend first, and then roll bone by bone all the way up. That is your very quick cool down and stretch for the upper body. If you have more time, I encourage you to stay a little bit longer, show your upper body some love to balance out your strength training. But this is where we part for today. I want to thank you so very much for being here, for working with me, and for letting your body be moved.